walk me through this. The Sparrow reconnaissance pods or ships come down to the planet. They park both near the Viking 1 and 2. And then what happens next?
Okay, there are astronauts inside. They have suits on. They get out to go look at these Viking landers. And what do they find? All the electronic gear inside both landers are gone.
Salvaged. Wow. Interesting.
Something, and we didn't have any manned missions to Mars before this time. The Soviets didn't have, or Russians didn't have, the Chinese didn't have. Who took the equipment? Well, the only answer is extraterrestrials. This equipment was packed inside these Viking landers. And they survived the mission from Earth to the Martian soil. And they were operating fine for a short period of time, and then they ceased to operate. At that point, they're probably the extraterrestrials in the 80s, because one stopped in 80, and I think the other one stopped in 82. I'm not sure exactly the time frame there, but they stopped working. So the extraterrestrials found these landers, went in and took the equipment out, probably to study it like we would study theirs.
Got it. So, okay. So right now we have 2 teams down on the planet looking at the old Viking probes or satellites. And then back up, we still have a bunch of astronauts on the Cronus 5 orbiting the planet, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then the next thing Cronus 5 did was they found a place to land. And they found what appeared to them to be structures. And we had past information that electronic signals were coming from a certain area called Terra. That's a location on the planet, some type of signals, frequencies being used. Now, that frequency band wasn't in anything that we used, and NASA or any military would use.
Okay.
So we had to determine who's using this frequency. Well, we knew where it was, and so Cronus 5, they were going to land near there and then explore that area. And what did they find? They found structures. They found ramps going in underground. There were only 2 astronauts that could spare to go out and evaluate or recon this area.
Okay.
And so these 2 astronauts went inside, down this ramp, and into the underground facility. And lo and behold, they found an enormous underground facility.
Really?
With numerous rooms, ports going from that underground facility to the surface. And we're talking hundreds and hundreds of meters under the ground, this facility was.
So the ramp went really deep underground?
Really deep underground.
Okay.
They saw spacecraft, not ours, extraterrestrial spacecrafts. Here's the problem. There were only 2 astronauts. One of the things that they were told were if we encountered extraterrestrials, we didn't want a confrontation.
That's fair.
So there's only 2 astronauts.
Yeah.
And although they had something similar to a weapon, and I'm not going to go into great details on that because I wasn't told all about it. They didn't want to have to use that.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Imagine what would happen if you had a confrontation on the surface. They had no backup.
Yeah, it's so
nobody to
harrowing.
help.
Right.
So they didn't get close enough to get a good description of those crafts. They were in some distance away at another ramp.
Okay.
Or almost, they're talking about a launch area, an area where these 2 crafts. They were big crafts, and they weren't saucer shaped. They were almost oval shaped, and they were huge. And that's all I was told. They were huge. These astronauts looked around, found a control room. Inside this control room were robotic entities. They weren't non-human intelligence. They were robots. They were sitting at control panels. They had their hands embedded into this control panel. There were some lights on at the control panel, but the astronauts didn't want to get too close to them because they didn't want to have a confrontation.
So the robots didn't notice the astronauts?
It almost appeared that these robots had a mission. They were embedded, doing their mission, didn't care about anything else, or probably maybe weren't even programmed to, because they probably didn't expect anything else.
So is this an abandoned underground facility? Is that what this is? And these robots were just left behind?
It appeared that it might be just a spaceport that are used now and then by an extraterrestrial race, and these robots are like caretakers.